Tony, your mic, buddy. All right, buddy.
Kiss the rain. Ice runs in my veins. Won't play it safe. I don't belong with your nobility. Who died and made you king of anything? You think that I'm insane? It's your mistake. Kingdoms rise and fall. I've come to take it all. Take it, I've come to take it. Kingdoms rise and fall. I've come to take it all. I'll take it all. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control it. My bones, I'm coming for it, coming for it. Coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne. Yo, I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast. And that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today.
All right, gang. Happy Friday, February 6th. Oh my gosh, what a damn week, huh? Pour yourself a drink, make it top shelf. None of this. I know everybody had a tough week, but I don't want none of this budget nonsense out there. We're just gonna chill tonight, talk about this week, maybe answer some questions. I got a few tickers, on the video title that maybe we'll talk about. And of course, as always, I'm happy to take questions on whichever ones you are interested in. If we don't have it on the list to cover tonight, we talk about a lot of retail stocks on this channel, but let's keep it straight. I want you to have a balanced, diversified portfolio of blue chip stocks. What do I mean by blue chip? Does that mean AMC and GameStop? No, it does not. Those are not blue chips, and that is not diversified. A good, solid, diversified portfolio would be profitable companies that have a long history of growing revenues and growing profits, and ideally paying you some dividends. And then when you got that benchmark evergreen portfolio, you can have some fun with us with the meme stocks, the speculative tickers. I do not invest all of my portfolio in one company. I don't recommend that you do that. And I certainly try and balance any allocation that I have relative to the risk. And look, retail meme stocks are high risk. So you can rest assured if I'm talking about them, I might not even own them. I'll tell you if I do, if you ask, or if I don't. Sometimes I'm just watching them to wait for a good entry. And sometimes we have to wait 6 or 9 or 12 months to get a good entry. Patience is part of the game. You win in trading speculative stocks with your entry. You get a bad entry, you could be screwed for a long time. But if you're patient, you wait for a market pullback. I bought a lot this week on that pullback yesterday. These are the moments we wait for, the reason we are doing the due diligence. And some of these speculative tickers got really smacked, really smacked. And I'm looking, some of them are swing trades. Some of them are tickers that I'm going to hold for a year, like Weeble, for example. I figure I'll probably be in Weeble for a year. We need to get a few earnings under the belt before we really know what's going to happen with Weeble. It's still a speculative stock, but it got really cheap. Yesterday. What else? AMC, GameStop, Railtown. We'll talk about those. Onds, we might talk about that. The drone stock. Some good speculative stuff because, hey, blue chips are boring, man. No one wants to talk about a stock where it's only going to go up 12, 15, 16% in a year. It's not fun. We like volatility, at least, to talk about on a live stream. We like some volatility. But to pay your bills and to take care of yourself, I want you to have a blue chip diversified portfolio. And don't forget it. I'm pouring myself a little drink here. Drink. It is 2026. I am allowing myself to have a beer from time to time. Tonight, in light of this week's craziness, I bought a Texas Belgian triple. The brewery is called Real Ale, and this is the Devil's Backbone. You better have the Devil's Backbone. You're going to be playing in these high volatility tickers. This ain't for the weak. It's not for the crybabies. And it's certainly not for those that enjoy leverage. Oh my gosh, how many people got wiped out this week in high leverage plays? Or how many people got wiped out this week that were too bullish on buying options? We like selling options on this channel. We like the wheel. Sell cash secured puts, sell covered calls. Try and find some stocks that you wouldn't mind owning if you're selling cash secured puts, because you might end up owning them. But once you own them, then you sell covered calls at a strike price you'd be willing to exit that ticker at. It's what we call the virtual ATM. Play like the big boys, ladies and gentlemen. Learn to play like the big boys. Forget all this nonsense they tell you on social media. Oh, if you're selling covered calls, you're bearish. If you're selling cash secured puts, you're bearish. No. You're playing it smart. You are playing it like a professional. Adlamo says, I can't believe we didn't get the AMC 8K. Yeah, that's maybe a good topic to start out talking about tonight. AMC. I do not own any AMC. Let's be clear. I still see people making live streams every day. Tony is talking about my ticker because he wants you to sell it and move all your money into AMC. Like, come on, don't be dumb, you YouTubers. I don't want anybody to sell anything and move it into AMC. I don't own AMC. And I don't tell people to sell their stocks either. So you already caught you in two lies. Should we keep going, William? Lying to the audience every single day, man. The more I hear other YouTubers lie about me, the more I love to cover their favorite tickers. I do, you know, I have swung trade AMC in 2024. Haven't even owned the stock now since late 2024. It just has not been a safe entry, in my opinion. And I think if you would allow me to walk you back on memory lane on the price, you can see what I'm talking about. I was trying to swing trade it here, buying in the low fours, got out close to break even in November of 2024 because I told you guys that they were going to do a share offering, and not even 30 days later they did, and bloop, the price went down. Company ran out of shares just like they had run out in 2022. So then we said, well, now the ATM's done, but now we got to wait because they're going to ask for a vote for more shares. We were expecting that in the summer. It didn't come till December, but we did get a debt refinancing in the summer, which told me, well, hell, there's a bunch more dilution coming in this debt package, and the interest rates are going up. Debt's being paid off, but the rates are going up. This is not a good, safe entry for me yet. And so we've been sitting out. The vote is behind us now. But remember, late December 2025, AMC and the lenders agreed. AMC went to the lenders and said, hey, we know that in July we agreed with you that we would not raise more than $50 million until July 2026. But you know what? I think we're going to need a little more. I think can we work out a deal where you allow us to raise $150 million? And the lenders said, sure. This was in December, just not even a month ago. Sure, we'll allow that, but it's going to cost you. We want $6.5 million, and we want a 12.5% discount on the exchangeable notes. And if you're willing to pay that in shares, all of that in shares, we'll let you raise $150 million as soon as February 2nd. No waiting till July. And so Adlamo is waiting. Where's the ATM? February 2nd was the date they could do it. Tony, you told us that you were forecasting a negative free cash flow in Q1. Why haven't they raised money yet? And we have been talking about this in the Discord. I know not everybody on YouTube is in the Discord, and I don't advertise it, so don't ask me how to get in it. If you can't figure it out, then, you know, we don't want you. And no, I'm not going to send you an invite either. There are a couple reasons why they might not have done it. Number one, we could just be wrong, right? They don't need cash. There are people out there saying they don't need cash. Tony, what are you talking about? Q1 is going to blow your socks off. Just you wait. I'm not in that camp. Look, I've done the cash flow analysis. I can't say for sure what February and March box office are going to be. But even if they're a little bit better than I'm expecting, it's still going to be probably 200 million cash burn. We've got 425 million cash on the balance sheet or so, based on AMC's 8K that they released with the preliminary earnings on January 27th, was it? 27th, 29th? That's pretty low. I mean, they did an ATM for 170 million or so last year, and they had 600 million on the Q4 balance sheet. Now we're down to 400 million. I think it's very reasonable to presume that they will need to raise some cash, and we've seen Sean Goodman, the CFO, play it very safe and always ensuring that the company has maximum flexibility and adequate liquidity so they don't get caught in a bind, which is why I think AMC went to the lenders in December and said, hey, we need the ability to raise more than 50 million in July. We need 150 million at our disposal as soon as early February to cover that expected Q1 cash burn. Why haven't they done it though? I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. Market conditions, not favorable. Could be one reason. Could be that based on that January 27th debt restructuring 8K that we got, maybe they have to wrap up some paperwork before they announce the ATM so that the price doesn't get boinked around by a ATM while they're trying to hammer out VWAP periods or whatever the hell they're going to come up with in that debt restructuring. That'll be a debt restructuring on the 2025 debt, and the 2027 lenders were the ones who were being pigs about this. But they agreed to it. They agreed to it for a price, another price. Market conditions, debt restructuring. Maybe they don't need the cash. What else? Oh, perhaps we're expecting any time now, I am, 154 million in exchangeable notes are going to be exchanged for shares. There was that VWAP measurement period for that began on December 10th. And we don't know how long it was. Was it 30 days? Was it 30 calendar days, 30 trading days, 60 days? We don't know. So maybe they're still waiting on that. Maybe that already happened. Maybe those shares already got exchanged, but the lenders aren't done dumping them yet. And AMC's like, have you sold all your shares yet? Because we really need to get that ATM out there. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities, Adlamo, why they haven't dropped a prospectus about a Q1 ATM. But I'm still expecting I'm just going to say any time now. I was on a daily countdown this week expecting, and I posted some probabilities. The probabilities were heavily skewed to Thursday or Friday, but here it is Friday and we got nothing. So we'll find out. Maybe old Tony will be wrong and my wife can write in her little book, he was wrong. The book that only has one page. It's a running joke. Clark Barwick, how you doing? Driving home, Julie, and I bought a whole bunch of Railtown AI at 28 cents a share. How you doing? Clark and Julie, welcome. Thank you for telling Julie and I about Railtown. You are welcome, Clark. Railtown, guys, is a very speculative AI company, which you can buy. Most AI agentic AI companies are private. You have no ability to buy them. This is a sovereign Canadian AI company. It's trading at about 28 cents. Recent high was 60 cents based on some hype on another channel. But we were saying here, be patient. I've been buying in the low 20s. I'm trying to keep my cost average under 30 cents, Clark. But I want to be clear, because the other channels are not clear. Well, they're clear on one thing. They tell you that this 28-cent stock is going to $55 by May. After they've been wrong literally on every ticker they've ever covered. You're supposed to believe this. I'm just going to tell you, look, this is right now a non-revenue company. It's pre-revenue, sorry. We're expecting revenue in the next 1 or 2 quarterly reports, because they just partnered up with TELUS up in Canada, a big tech company who built a AI factory outfitted with the latest and greatest NVIDIA, and Railtown is their partner, and there's a revenue share agreement, and we're expecting that factory really to come online with Railtown in February right now. So we're, in my best estimation, only months away from finding out what the revenue looks like. Now, on these other channels, they're telling you that this company is going to be valued in billions of dollars. My numbers aren't that high. But if they're right, I'll send them a case of champagne. We have very realistic expectations here. And we have no way to know what the revenue or net income is going to be. There's been zero communication. Anybody talking numbers is making them up. And that's fine. But people are going to own their talking points. And if you're telling people this is going to be a multi-billion-dollar company in a few months, and you're incorrect, well, I guess hopefully people will own that, the ones saying it. My forecasts are much lower, much more realistic. In fact, I don't even really like to talk about them, except maybe in the Discord. Because what do I know? I'm just guessing like everybody else. But if you guys know me, my guesses are built very conservatively. Optimistic. I'm optimistic that there'll be revenue. I have no idea if it'll be positive net income. We don't know what the revenue share percentage is. We don't know much. But it's a fun, speculative AI play. That's how I look at it. Size your risk accordingly. Some people on this guy's channel, the other guy covering this ticker, he's got like 20 viewers. Between them, they own 17 million shares of this stock. That tells you how much they have at risk. I watched a few minutes of the end of his live stream today. There was one guy saying he bought the top. He had bought the top based on this gentleman YouTuber telling them to buy every day at any price. It was never going to be cheaper. His cost average was over 60 cents on a 28-cent stock. But because it's been now in the low 20s, he's been able to get his cost average down to 40. If it goes to $1 or $2 in the next year or two, he's going to be fine. Whether he was in at 20 cents, 30, 40, or 60. But it's discouraging, and it makes you angry when you buy at 60 and it drops down to 20, which is why when I started covering this ticker, I said, be patient. Look at the chart. Look at the rejection happening on the chart. Wait it out. We took a small position here on Railtown right before the news was supposed to drop me around 40 cents. And the news of the merger with AIP, and that didn't make the stock pop. So I just sat back and let it come all the way, retrace. Most of my purchases of Railtown, 90% of them have been since late mid-December, in the as low as I can get in the 20s. So Clark, that is the catch up and the caveat on Railtown. Hopefully news soon. I give you no guarantees, no promises. But if you're riding the lightning with us, cheers and good luck to us all. Active Rehab says, Tony, your boy, gonna lose the midterms with that meme. Yeah, we're not gonna talk politics here tonight, Rehab, but I saw that and I was shaking my head like, there's got to be some decorum. I know he probably thought in his brain that that was funny. There's got to be some decorum, but you know, I don't think anybody who voted for him was voting for decorum. I wish there would be a little bit more myself. G. Turner, good evening. Anya says it's only a post-it note. What are we talking about? Anya says, I thought it meant don't mess with Tony. It's an anti-litter. Yeah, don't mess with Texas means that's... We have those signs on the highway, Anya. It's an anti-littering campaign. Rebleep says he took profits on GME calls. Do we cover AMC to everybody's satisfaction? Oh, let's just talk about the price and we'll move and talk about GameStop real quick. I just want to be clear again. I don't own any AMC, but I might by the end of Q1. I'm waiting on corporate actions. I'm waiting on news about if they're going to do an ATM. I'm waiting on news about if we're going to have 154 million exchangeable notes come in and go out as shares. If both of those happen, then I'm expecting the share count to go up by 200 million shares by the end of Q1. But I could be completely wrong. But that's what I'm expecting, and I'm following my own DD. You don't have to follow my DD. You don't have to agree with it. That's fine. I certainly don't want to mess up your trades. It's my channel telling you what I'm doing. I moved my demand zone down. We'll see if $1.35 holds. Could it go lower than $1.48, $1.35? Maybe. If we find out in a few weeks that there's 200 million shares of dilution, we have to think about, could it go lower, or is that all already being priced in because the market knows it's coming just like I do? I don't know. We'll find out. I would just rather err on the side of caution because I know we got those two things hanging out there, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be a cash burn Q1. So I am out until I get more information. Been out for 14 months now. I did a movie review this weekend, and I was commenting on the food, and he said in the comments, AMC is trash. I hope that makes you feel better coming over here and leaving those comments. It doesn't matter to me what you think. I don't own the stock. I'm not promoting the stock. I will swing trade it if there is ever an opportunity that feels relatively risk-free to me. Like, hey man, if the ATM is announced next week and it's over by the end of March, they can't do another one till July. That might be a window for me. I don't know. We will cross that bridge when we come to it. I do expect that box office is going to get better beginning Q2. So let's get all of the bad news out before the end of March. That's what I want to see. Then we can focus on some positivity. We saw this week, what was Send Help. We saw, I saw Markiplier. We already talked about that. What did we see? The one we just saw yesterday or the day before. God dang it. We're going to go see Strangers Chapter 3. And I think my wife got some early sneak peek tickets to see Goat tomorrow night. Oh, Shelter. We saw Shelter February 4th, Iron Lung, February 2nd, Mercy, February 2nd, Send Help, February 1st. I'm doing what I can. 1, 2, 3, 4 movies in past week. Some of y'all are spending $50 on shares. I'm spending $50 on food and popcorn and beverages. I do what I can, what I'm comfortable with. We have an entertainment budget. So what if I spend it on a movie ticket for my wife or buy her some chicken nuggets? You gonna get mad? You gonna come say AMC sucks because I like movies? I don't know what to say. There's a lot of hateful people out there. I don't even own the stock. I own Cinemark and I own Marcus Corp, but I don't go to their theaters. They don't need my help. I don't need my help. Those stocks are doing just fine, and so are the profits at those companies. AMC needs every bit of revenue help they can get, and I'm happy to do it because I like movies. And the dine-in theater here is the bomb. Thebomb.com. G. Turner says, congrats on the nugget in March. Yes, I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. And the Discord has known for a while, and I was giving them hints for months, but none of them figured out. So I finally told them, I don't know, a month ago. And we made a more public announcement maybe a week or so ago. Yes, Scarlett has one in the oven. This will be my third son, third little boy, and he will be here at the end of March. And we are super excited. Promise I made to her long ago. She's like, the number one thing I want in my life is to have a baby. So if you're going to date me, marry me, whatever, that's got to be in the cards at some point. And it's been a long time we've been together, like, I forget, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, something like that. But we agreed a year ago that 2025 would be the year. So she did get pregnant in 2025, and we're not even 60 days away from life changing once again. Anya says, what were the hints? The fruit of the week, Anya. It started out about the size of a poppy seed, and you notice the fruit of the week grew in size every week for the last 25 weeks. Nobody noticed that the fruit of the week was growing. Y'all thought I was talking about healthy eating. I thought at least one person would catch on, but it's okay. It was just an attempt to be clever. Anya, thank you. Yes, Railtown, the ticker on the OTC here in the US is RLAIF. And in Canada, that is their main listing. It trades under the ticker RAIL, Rail, if you're in Canada. Here is the Railtown. Here, this purple line on the left is about when I started covering it. I put out a tweet saying, hey, if it breaks through this resistance, it could have a nice run. It did have a nice run, so that was a good call. That tweet's still up. People say I've been negative against Railtown from day one. No, I tweeted out to watch for a breakthrough. It ran up from 30 cents to 68. And then I tweeted out, if this rejects right here, use caution. Was that being negative? Or is that suggesting you use caution if it rejects, like we would do with any ticker? And that tweet is still up. And sure enough, it rejected and it dropped all the way back down. So we've been doing the buys down here in the demand zone. I was not covering the stock when it was down here before, so I couldn't buy it then. But I'm happy it came back down, much like we expected it would. And now we're riding the Railtown train like everybody else. Not every broker will let you trade this stock. You can trade it for no additional fee, no OTC fee on Fidelity. Some other brokers will charge you a few bucks to trade OTC. You know, have accounts on different brokers for different purposes. No one wants to pay annoying extra fees. All right. We talked about AMC. We've talked about Railtown. I see some questions about GameStop. Let's talk about that. GameStop. All right, so I did. Someone asked, did you take any profits on Gme? I took profits on the 26th at 24.32, which was right here on this run up, this wick. It peaked at the top of the supply zone and started coming back down. And so I sold some shares. I have the majority of my positions still intact and warrants still intact. My cost basis is $20 and a couple nickels. And I did not sell on the Ryan Cohen news in this. The remaining portion, no, I'm not. This was just to lock in some gains here. The rest, you know, I'm not in trouble until it gets below 19. So I'm not in any rush. And if you have followed my coverage on GameStop, the number one, well, the only reason that I am playing the stock is its high volatility. The company has a highly liquid and solvent balance sheet, and i.e. plenty of cash. And my reason for owning it this time around, I've been swing trading it for years. Buy low, sell into run-ups, wait, rinse and repeat. The reason I'm in the ticker right now is we got a good entry. We had multiple touches on this demand zone. Last time I got in cheap, we were able to sell at 33 bucks back in here in May of 2025. Had to wait a while to buy it cheap again. But I think, you know, there's a chance we could go back up to 28. I would unload some more right here. Depending on the news. There's going to be dilution, overhang, and resistance at 28, 29, 32 because of the convertible bonds and the warrants and the way that these lenders are arbing their bonds, the delta hedging. They are going to increase the short position as it approaches 28 and 29. And so that's going to act as natural resistance, and the market will start factoring in some dilution, even if it's years away, you know. So there's going to be this like tendency for it not to be able to go above 28, 29, unless there's some news like GameStop bought Best Buy. You know, if that rocket happens, I will ride that rocket. And by rocket, I mean what? To 30 bucks, 32. I'm just looking for a good trade. This is not a MOAS channel. Just looking for a good trade. It's a high volatility stock. I feel pretty comfortable that there will be that moment of volatility. I think Ryan Cohen's done a respectful job, respectable, of getting the books in order to where the core business is not losing money. You know, we've been very honest about GameStop's financials. I correctly called the price walk down to $10 back when that happened. And then Roaring Kitty came back and it ran up. Awesome. We're in a whole different GameStop now since those days. And like any intelligent trader out there, I always am willing to change my analysis and my thesis and my trading strategy based on changing data. We're in a completely different scenario here with a business. Even if it's barely profitable, it is profitable. And they have a huge amount of cash. And they have free cash flow now. So there's a lot of reasons, I think, to take a bullish speculative bet. The people that are not doing that, the ones that hate GameStop, generally just hate Ryan Cohen or they don't trust him. And that's fine. If that's you, that's fine. That's not me. You could say in the chat, GameStop's never going anywhere. I hate Ryan Cohen. He likes Trump. Go ahead. I don't care. You do whatever suits you. And we can still be friends. Hey, the market is made up of people with different opinions. I have an exit plan if I'm wrong. I'm not going to ride this thing into the dirt. But I don't think we're going to be wrong here. It's just, how long? How long do you got to sit here and wait? A year, 2 years, 5 years? I don't know. Which is why on speculative stocks, I don't just own GameStop. It's a small position for me relative to the portfolio. Speculative tickers get allocated position size according to the perceived risk. There's unknowns. I am not negative. I am positive about the stock. Kyle says back to 22 before it breaks 28. I hope so, Kyle. Especially after selling here at 24, I'd love to see it come back down to 20. So I've got that cash just sitting there waiting for a bounce back down. Come on, bring it. Come on, bring it. I know everybody else on the other channels, they like to just draw arrows that go up and to the right. And I know they got to pander to their audience, but we don't do that here. I draw the supply and demand zones for a reason, because it's been trading in that zone more or less for a year and a half now. And without news, that is likely to continue. And then now the other thing we got to contend with is Q4. I've seen some people on Superstonk have put out numbers of what they're expecting for Q4 earnings. I've shared some numbers with my Discord. It's very hard to guess GameStop's Q4 revenue or net income because they're closing stores and they're cutting costs all at the same time. But I think my worst case scenario is break even, and best case, as we talked about in Discord even today, could be better than break even for Q4. The thing that is weighing on Q4 is interest rates are down, so there's a little bit less interest income, and we have the Bitcoin loss, which I'm estimating at around 147 million. If they held their Bitcoin, they'll have a unrealized loss affecting the Q4 books. It's not a depletion of cash. It is a depletion of assets. So that would affect the numbers and wipe away some of the gains that people were expecting to see on the Q4 numbers. And then we'll also have the news of 500 new store closures globally in the month of January. We've got to grapple with that. It's going to be a really hard quarter to guess what's going to happen with the price. We don't know for sure the revenue. We don't know for sure the margin. And we've got 500 store closures, and we have 147 million potential loss on Bitcoin. So I think anybody who's really, really certain, probably it's a little bit of false bravado, but, you know, put your numbers out there. And if you're right, we'll be happy that you were right. I don't like putting numbers out if I don't have a high degree of certainty, because then people, you know, they'll make trading decisions on that. And I just don't know. I don't know what it's going to do. All I can tell you is that doesn't matter to me, because I'm not investing in GameStop based on their brick and mortar or their Bitcoin holdings. I'm invested for one reason, which is at some point in the future, I believe that they will have some transformative use of cash, and that there'll be some momentary volatility I could trade. That's it. That's it. AMC Kitty Cowboy, howdy, howdy. Love Star says, GME for me is like a 10-year play, not going to swing it unless Kitty comes back and stock pushes quickly. I mean, I can respect that. I don't have any like set target of where I'm going to sell. I'm going to every week, just like when I sold a little bit on the 26th, there was no real reason for that run up. This week with the Ryan Cohen, you know, the interviews Thursday, Friday, potentially on Monday with Charles Payne got canceled. I could understand why it got run up this week. And you know, if I would have known all of that was going to happen at the end of last week, I might not have sold on the 26th. But I don't regret taking profits. Made about a 20% gain on a couple month hold. What's wrong with that? Nothing. Keep booking the profits, and then you can buy more shares when it comes back down. I'm not trying to become a millionaire by owning 2, 3, 4, 5,000 shares of GameStop. I don't care about it that much. It's a volatility swing trade for me. But my point is, if I am in cheap enough, and I am $20 and a couple nickels, then I can be patient with it. It's a small position for me. You know, I'm watching other stocks that have real price action going on. If this one were to run up on no news, I might sell a little more. If there's good news, I will evaluate that news and make a decision in the moment. We'll talk about that when that moment comes. I might end up holding this for months or a year. I don't know. But there is that thing called opportunity cost, right? You know, the GameStop YouTubers who say they're happy they've been averaging down for the last 5 years. Meanwhile, they've experienced a real opportunity cost of 5 years of not accumulating any profit on the entirety of their position. And for some of them, that is their only stock. So for 5 years, they've given up any gain on their investment portfolio. That to me is a shame. I don't want to see that happen to you guys. I hope it works out for them. But even if it does, they say they're not going to sell. So it's probably not going to work out for them. Yeah, opportunity cost, opportunity lost. Kyle, you know what I'm talking about. SC Haddocken, howdy, howdy. Zachary says he saw Iron Lung. He really liked the universe building. I wish I knew more about that game before I went to see the movie, Zachary, because I was just kind of lost. But after I saw the movie, and I thought Markiplier did a fantastic job on the film. The acting, the universe building, as you said, everything about the film was top notch. I just couldn't really connect with the story because I wasn't familiar with the gameplay or the lore. After that movie, I came home and I put on I don't know how long it was, 45 minutes or an hour hour-and-a-half gameplay from Markiplier's channel where he played out the whole game. I was like, I get it now. I wish I would have known all of that. If you are familiar with the game, the movie was pretty spot on. And so I can see why that movie is doing so well. Josh Davidian says, thank you. Appreciate level-headed analysis. Thank you. Hat tip to you. Someone said, Tony, you only wear hats because you're bald. No, not bald. Wear hats because I like them, dumbasses. But hat tip to you, sir. When is the next live stream with May? I haven't talked with May in, gosh. I know she's been really big in SoFi. She's very big in the SoFi community. When is the last time I've talked to her? Everybody thinks I talk to these people all the time. I don't talk to anybody, really. I talk to my Discord. I talk to my wife and my kids. I can't even find a message. It's been a long time. If you guys have a topic, I think the last time I talked to her was when we did the due diligence on Weeble. That was a long time ago. Weeble, the ticker BULL. Oh, here we go. 17 weeks since I've talked with May. October 6th. But anytime y'all want to have her on for any extra information she can share with us, or if you want to hear her talk about SoFi, I'm sure she would be happy to come back on. SC Hattikin says, my GameStop $25 calls were spared today. I closed them at 95% plus before the closing bell. We have other people in the Discord that are selling covered calls, higher strike prices than that, just from the few that have shared their thoughts and their DD with us. But I mean, look, if you're not scared of losing your shares, you're more interested in the virtual ATM, then, and you know what to do if there were a Roaring Kitty reemergence, then there's a lot of money to be made selling covered calls on many different tickers, and it's a perfectly viable strategy on GameStop. There will be times, generally maybe once per year, where we get in trouble and something happens and things spike far beyond where we anticipated. And we generally are selling weekly calls, like Monday morning, sell them for Friday expiration. But still, sometimes things happen. Roaring Kitty shows up out of the blue. You need to already know what you're going to do if that happens. And hopefully you're not selling covered calls below your basis. I'm not talking to you, Hattikin. I'm just talking to you guys in general. Because you don't want to lose your shares at a loss should you decide not to take preventative action. You could roll them. You could buy some calls, in case you do lose your shares. You could hope that the price comes back down like it did for him by Friday. There's a lot of different things that you could do. But you better know what you're doing if you're running the wheel or selling covered calls. It's not for everybody. Life Outdoors says, going to go see Solo Mio tomorrow. Hope it is funny. I don't remember what that one is about. Oh, solo mio. See a movie. Comedy. After being left at the altar in Rome, a man decides to go on his honeymoon alone. Oh, with Kevin James. Okay. Andrea Bocelli. Kim Coates. I probably should know who Julia Ann Emery is, but the name is not ringing a bell. Anya says May was traveling for a month or so. Thank you, Anya. John says, never been done before. If GameStop targets a much larger ticker, how will they finance that? I mean, I've seen a lot of people, John, throw out a lot of different ideas about how they might do it. I've read some of them. I don't know that I'm interested, and some of them sound plausible. I don't know that I'm interested in getting bogged down on this channel just for the sake of having something to talk about, which is what everyone else is doing. It's the normal social media clickbait engagement. GameStop's going to buy Macy's. GameStop's going to buy Target, Wendy's, Best Buy, PayPal, costs. You've seen it all. eBay. I don't care. I don't care who they buy or how they're going to do it. I look forward to finding out how they're going to buy something much bigger. But yeah, I mean, it's reasonable to conclude that it probably is going to include some debt or share exchange. I don't know. How do you buy somebody bigger? There's other theories out there. What I am more focused on is just my belief. And again, the bears hate this one belief. The bears hate this one simple trick. My belief is that Ryan Cohen has pretty good counsel in terms of smart people in the world of finance to talk to, and that he knows what he is going to do. It might be dilutive to us, which is why I'm not going to come on here every day and tell you you're going to be a millionaire. I don't know. Depends on what he does. When we get the news, I will analyze it as calmly, rationally, quickly, and emotionless as I can. Then try and make some quick decision. Is this a trade out on volatility? Did we just get fucked? Or are we going to the moon? I don't know. Depends on what he does. Well, I'm not going to spend every day coming up with ideas of what he might do. Let's just wait till we see what he does. Blessed says, how greedy are the short sellers by not getting out a finger yesterday on the dip? Do they really think it's going down to zero? Insane. By the way, since you brought that ticker up, I didn't put it in the video title. I did. I 5x'd my finger position yesterday on that dip. Let's pull up the finger chart. This is not a ticker I recommend to you guys. FNGR is the ticker. This is a money-losing Chinese company. Let me get this chart up here to a point where it makes sense. You can see the swings, right? This thing has a long history of big swings, and I have traded it before. Bought 484 back in October 23, sold at 624. It's a couple dollars, nothing great. And then I sat out for a long time. Bought some more down here, $1.08, $1.30. Back in December 2024, people say Tony hates finger because he tells you to get out when it's moving up. No, I don't hate finger. I hate watching you ride shit back down to zero. And when I see the chart rolling over, I will tweet something. Man, the pumpers got mad at me in May of 2025. And then I waited until January 20th, bought some more on yesterday. $1.09, $1.09. It got crushed yesterday and then back up today to $1.15. There was, I was talking to the Discord. It was at $1.50 just a couple days ago, and we did an alert when it was trading down here close to $1. When it was running up to $1.50, I told them, don't feel bad about taking profits right now. You've been holding it for a couple days and you're up 45%. That's fine. If you want to take an exit, do it. I'm waiting for a little bit more, but I'm also taking on some risk here because Finger is not collecting on their sales. They're booking revenue. They're not collecting on it. Look at the accounts receivable, just growing, growing, growing. They got a problem here, and they're probably going to need to dilute again. But you see the pumpers working really hard on social media. They were putting out all the typical lies. Merger incoming, major announcement any day. The same old shit they do every single time on Finger, the paid network. All lies. They got it to go up to $1.50, but then the market kind of crushed that. So we'll see if they can get it to run again. I hope they do. I leave them alone because I'm just here riding the coattails of their pumping. I don't talk about Finger except in the Discord. I call it a speculative stock with no reason to own it other than you like to gamble. And there is a downside. The downside is the pump fails. The other people that are pumping it, they fail, and the company has to raise money, and it goes down to 75 cents. I mean, that's a real risk. What's going to happen first? A cash raise or the pump? I don't know. I don't know. Last time when we bought in January, December, it didn't run till April. So that's why I told Discord, take profits if you want to. 45% is a respectable gain for a week. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait a couple months, but I understand that I'm increasing my risk. And you're asking, why didn't the shorts close? What's the short interest? What is the short? I bet it's, I don't even look at that shit. I don't. I don't even know. Doesn't matter to me. Short interest on Finger. Oh, Lord. This is why I don't care. These fucking yahoos will tell you on social media, the naked short, blah, 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 blah. Look at this. Short interest is 2.6%. You see right here? There's no shorts in this play. Nobody cares about a $1 Chinese stock. How else do we know that? Well, we can look at the cost to borrow. Let's see if I'm right. Cost to borrow, if it's low, you know there's no shorts. 3%. Well, it's not under 1%, but it's not 20, 30, 40% either. This is a easy to borrow, inexpensive to short stock. But the fact is, there's just not any shorts in this stock. I know they tell you every day on social media there's not. It's okay. Let them say whatever they want. You trade on the real information. You know there's no shorts. You know that any pump is going to be from FOMO, from the couple of accounts that push this ticker. And if they're able to trick enough people and you got in cheap enough right now, close to $1, maybe you get out at 40%, maybe you get out at 5x. This was a 5x runner last year. I'd take that. Zachary says on the Markiplier movie, I was a bit lost in a good way after the movie ended. Yeah, that ending was very confusing to me. Anya says, I'd like to see Ryan Cohen buy a soft serve ice cream company. So we talked about Finger. I was trying to finish up talking about GameStop. Do we have any other GameStop questions? I think we kind of covered everything I wanted to say. I'm excited to hear whatever news Ryan has, but keep in mind, we got to get a vote on his comp package. What's a good way to get a rabid audience of retail investors to vote for your comp package? Put out a couple of very good news articles, right? Is anybody saying that besides me? I mean, I'm not trying to be a shill here, but what better way to make sure everybody votes yes than to tease them with something very big's coming? I mean, God bless him. He knows how to work a crowd. And that's why I don't talk about anything imminent, anything soon. I don't know. I think he's working the crowd for a vote. He's got to get that vote done. But if the market crashes enough and he gets a cheap enough company identified that he'd like to buy, he could act quickly, or it could be a year. I don't know. I'm not going to talk about that here because I don't know. Yeah, Sparky says, why wouldn't PayPal just buy GameStop? I mean, Sparky, I don't know if you remember, a year plus ago, man, the interview that set the GameStop YouTubers into a permanent state of hate for this channel when May said, what did y'all remember what Markets with May said about GameStop a year or two ago? She said, it looks to me like they want to wrap up and close down all the retail business and just have a shell company to do some merger or something. They were so mad at poor May, but she has been exactly right. We got 500 stores closed last year or more. We got another 500 closing now, probably more closing next year or the remainder of this year. And Ryan Cohen has done exactly what she forecast, built up a cash position to where they could do mergers, buyouts, maybe even a reverse merger, or you know, GameStop sets themselves up as a cash-rich shell company to take some private company public. There's so many opportunities for GameStop. It doesn't really matter. And now all the people that were so mad at May, they're finally starting to get on board. Like, oh yeah, look at all the possibilities here. She fucking nailed it. She nailed it. She nailed it. And they can't stand when she's right, which I just find hilarious. Anya says, we need some good gelato franchises in the US. Yeah, I was looking at PayPal chart. There were a lot of things I was looking at this week as things were melting down. Speaking of melting down, let's see how all our Bitcoin's doing. 71. I mean, it got punished all the way down to 60,000 from 126. So we're down. We were down more than 50%. I have some notes here about what this means to GameStop. 10,000 loss for each. 47 million loss for each 10,000 under 106. But we'll find out in coming days or weeks what they've done, if anything. 71,000. I thought about buying at 60, and I was like, yeah, I'm really a bottom feeder here. I'd feel better at 50, 55, and I didn't get it. So we'll see. We'll see how the next couple weeks go. I don't know that the pain is over just yet. I hope it is if you're a Bitcoin maxi. And then SLV I did take an exit here on about the 26th at around, I don't know, 102, 104. It went up to 109, but then crashed all the way down. And I was looking at buying again around 50, 55. But we seem to have, we're sitting right here. This is probably the 50-day. Let me turn on my settings. Chart settings. Yeah, we're holding right around the 50 on the daily. So we'll see what happens next week. Someone asked me in the Discord, Tony, are you buying again yet? You locked in all your profits up here. I did not get the absolute top, but I got pretty damn close. I want to see a confirmed base, maybe a couple retests on it. See, this was kind of a not something you could rely on. You only had one test of the low and then crapped out again. So if we can base here for a while, maybe I feel comfortable buying here. If it tanks all the way down to the 200 in the 40s or 50s, I'd feel better. And if it shoots back up to 150, oh well, I missed getting back in the silver play. It won't matter to me. Or maybe, maybe it moves up slow enough that it tempts me back in and I ride it from 75 or 80 to 150. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to do yet. Too soon for me to call. Yeah, and I've listened to a lot of people, and a lot of people have been wrong for the past week. But it's amazing listening to like a silver space call on X. It sounds like any retail ticker. All the same, the shorts are scared. Buy this discount. It's only going up from here. It's never going lower. Granted, I mean, we have some reality to base silver on. It is a precious metal, and people know about how much is available and what the demand is. But there's a lot of macroeconomic and global issues going on here. I don't know that anybody is able to call it perfectly. I don't trust anybody talking about silver. But I did ride it all the way up to over 100, so be proud of me. Pat on the back. That was tough every day. That was tough for me. Kenneth says, any guess on when Ryan announcement about acquisitions coming? As I said, I'm not going to guess on when. I just trust. This is my thesis, my DD. You can hate it. You can love it. You can agree or disagree. I think he has the right intentions, and I think he has the right counsel. And I have trust that he will find a reasonable investment when the time is right. I don't have a timeline, and I don't care. This is not my only stock. I understand the risk, and he said be patient, and I'm fine with that. I'm not trying to buy call options, expecting a up and to the right MOAS next week. If it comes, that's cool. But no, I don't know when. I think he'd like to get the vote done, approving his comp package. But if the market were to crater next week and a good deal popped in his lap, I think he'd take the deal even before the vote is done. Could AMC be good buy for GameStop? I've had a lot of people ask me that question, to the point where I tweeted out, GameStop will not buy AMC. They won't. I've ran some quick numbers looking at ROI and IRR. There's no way that would make sense for Ryan Cohen or GameStop. And the response always is, but Tony, what about, imagine if they could set up kiosks in the lobbies and people could leave a movie and buy a game on the way out. Yeah, I get all that. You're talking window dressing here. You're not talking to me in the world I like to live in, which is the hard and cold facts of numbers. Show me your business case. I think Ryan Cohen would get sued if he bought GameStop, if he bought AMC. He'd get sued by shareholders. You're looking at a company with a functionally bankrupt balance sheet. They have more liabilities than assets. I'm not saying that to be mean to AMC. It's just a fact. The balance sheet is upside down, which is why Adam Aron and Sean Goodman are so focused on fixing it. They know what the problem is. $4 billion in debt, negative working capital, negative free cash flow. There's no good reason for GameStop to buy AMC. It would destroy shareholder value the second they pulled the trigger. Find a company, Ryan, that is free cash flow positive with a healthy balance sheet. That is what he should be looking for. So as much as I sympathize and I understand why people want GameStop to come rescue AMC, it would be a horrible, destructive decision for GameStop investors for the company to buy AMC. That's just unemotional numbers analysis. And if you can come up with even if it's back of the envelope analysis where you can show me the case where it's going to be a high ROI deal, then send me your notes. Also, Netflix is about to potentially wipe out the fucking theater industry with this damn merger. And we got an actors and writers strike potential hanging over our head. Negotiations for the contract this year. Hollywood can't get their act together, putting out enough movies. The state of the slate is always in question in one fashion or another. Like, why would Ryan want to take on all that risk for very low return? I couldn't make the numbers work. If I could, I would show you my numbers and tell you, here's why GameStop should buy AMC. I did the numbers. I couldn't make it work. But I'm open to you to show me your work. Show me your numbers. I would prefer, someone said maybe buying Steam. I don't know what Steam is worth, but I think Michael Burry came up with some interesting ideas. Buy cash cow like an insurance company or medical company. I don't know. I haven't even really looked into the ones he suggested that much. That's how little I care. I just think that it ideally should be something with a solid balance sheet and some free cash flow that will be immediately accretive and transformative to GameStop's books and market cap. You got to look for something that is a win-win, where the market stands back and says, oh, damn, we didn't see that coming. And if it's in their wheelhouse, like a Steam or a PSA or Best Buy or all of them, eBay, PayPal, I don't know. I mean, is PayPal and eBay in their wheelhouse? Maybe not, but eBay, maybe. There's a lot of challenges taking on something that is that different from what you're doing. So I don't know. Seems like Best Buy would be pretty easy, right? Ryan has shown the willingness to cut relentlessly, mercilessly, and transition things to online. That seems like it'd be an interesting an interesting acquisition, but I'm not the hugest fan. As you guys know, if you've listened to me for any length of time, I'm not the hugest fan of brick and mortar businesses that that rely on moving inventory. So I can see why people are excited about Best Buy. I don't know that that's my top pick. And then you get into the topic of an eBay or PayPal. You know, now you don't have brick and mortar and inventory to worry about. So those are a little more interesting to me. We'll see. I'm leaving it. Ryan, take the wheel. You know, leaving it up to him. Pro Style says PayPal is cooked. Yeah, I haven't used PayPal since 2021. We're not going to go back into that story again. Pro Styles. Fuck PayPal. Clark says, Tony, as a business owner, I look at AMC with massive debt that it's carrying would be the dumbest thing Ryan could ever do to purchase AMC. Yeah, look, Clark, just like you, I want to see box office improve enough that AMC recovers. There's a chance they could recover. If box office grows and as long as they have lenders willing to work with them, there's a chance. But it's not a good decision for GameStop. I just got to draw the line there. Like, I know people are really, really mad at me. But Tony, you just don't understand. Ryan wants to squeeze those shorts. The MNPI that Adam talked about, it lines up perfectly. Ryan's teasing an interview. Adam said something was going to happen in February. They've been planning this for months. You know what? We're going to be sitting here in March having the same conversation and nothing happened. GameStop did not buy AMC. But people need something to believe in. They need something to talk about. Show me the numbers of how it makes sense. Calculate the ROI. Calculate the payback period. Calculate the free cash flow. Calculate how much cash is going to be burned. Show me the numbers, and we'll have you on, and you can walk through your analysis. Because I could be wrong. I just did a quick, no, nope, that ain't going to work. Don't do that, Ryan. Clark says, as Jim Carrey says, so you're saying there's a chance. Yeah, of course there's a chance for AMC to recover. I'm being very quiet on AMC right now, Clark, for a reason. There are the drumbeat people. You see them out there every day. Dum, dum, dum. Moas tomorrow, MNPI. Q1's going to be the best ever. Dum, 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 dum. Even if Q1's bad, Q2 through Q4 are going to be great. Dum, 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 dum. I get it. I mean, they need to be positive to keep their spirits up. But I'm being very quiet on AMC coverage because of my DD is not that, it's not that exciting. It's not even that positive for Q1. So I want to get that behind us, and then maybe I can be more positive starting in Q2. But what I will say to answer your question, they have lenders that appear willing to work with them for a price, pushing maturities. And everybody, AMC and the lenders, are all pulling in the same direction. Extend the life of the company by any means necessary in the hopes that box office recovers. So for me, the number one and only thing that matters is what is the box office, which is why I go see 100 movies plus a year just at AMC. I'm going to go to the movies anyways. But I will allocate my entertainment dollars to AMC because they need the revenue. They don't need me to buy the stock. That ain't going to do jack shit. I don't own the stock, and me buying it is just going to put me in the red. I'd rather go spend $50 on food and drink. There is a chance, Clark. People saying bankruptcy is for sure. I mean, all I've seen is lenders willing to cut a deal for 5 years now. But we are getting to the point, to be fair to the bears, I'll just say this. We're getting to the point where the stock price is getting pretty fucking ridiculous. I mean, we can all see that, right? $1.48, $1.35. How do you pull yourself out of the hole when your stock's trading at $1? I don't know. Clark says, so what is there to love about AMC when it's in debt? Volatility is about the best I got for you, Clark. If you have the patience to wait this play out to those moments, like we bought back in March of 2024, wait for those moments where it's really cheap and the company is done diluting, and then you wait for some volatility and you sell into it. It's until the box office grows or the balance sheet is fixed, this is going to be a continual dilution trade. Because even if the box office gets improved enough that they're not burning cash, they still need to issue shares in exchange for debt. And Adam has said, we will do anything we can to repair the balance sheet. They are telling you clearly what is coming. All you got to do is listen to management and not social media. They're telling you what's going to happen. They said, if the box office does not recover to close to pre-pandemic levels, we're going to be in trouble. We will need to sell more stock. You might lose all your investment. So I'm just going to say go see some damn movies, because that's what matters to me. Anya says, can we look at UAA? UAA. Under Armour. I think they had a headquarters down here in Austin, Texas, didn't they, Anya? I think their owner had some controversy for a while too. I don't remember all the deets. I've looked at this company before, but never owned it. Probably because of this. Holy fuck. Ooh, that's messy. Yeah. Anya, that's not the kind of chart that we like. Let's see what's going on. Well, they've had basically no change in their revenue for 10 years. Looking at it annually, you could even say it's been declining for the last 2 or 3. That's not great. Net income, oh, fuck, man. Nothing to brag about there. Free cash flow, up, down, up, down, up, down. They do have a good gross margin, but their operating margin and their profit margins are problematic. Balance sheet. Hey, babe, can you bring me one of those beer from the top left? Sheshe, bukechi, gracias. Dobre jutro. Wait, that means good morning.
You have his name?
Yes, I do. Thank you. Un Railtown. Cash and cash equivalents declining, Anya. Total current assets versus liabilities, shareholders' equity. At least that's positive. Working capital is positive. It's not the worst balance sheet, but it's becoming problematic. It's not hair on fire just yet. 464 million in cash, 600 million in receivables, 600 million in other. I don't know what that is. And operating cash flow was positive last quarter. They don't have. It's really spotty. I guess because what? It's retail, Anya. Seasonality. I don't know. I haven't followed it enough to know, but it's not what we are looking for as our ideal benchmark holding on this channel. I want to see revenues increasing every quarter, every year. I want to see net income increasing. And I want to see both of them positive for a long time in the past. Is it a turnaround story? I can't tell you from a 5-minute analysis because I'd need to go listen to earnings calls, and you know how I do. I spend a day. But analysts have an average price target of $6.25. The most recent analyst has a price target of $5. So no, I would say not a turnaround story. Not by what they're communicating to the analyst right now. I'd say, you know, I'd be redeploying that capital elsewhere. If it were me. Do you want to hold it till 2029? I don't know. It's not impressing me, Anya. But I've been wrong before. Kyle, have a good evening. Thank you. He says they're going out. I wish we were going out too, Kyle. But that is off the menu for a couple more months. If you know what I mean. Some of y'all know what I mean. If you were here for the announcement earlier. Clark says, Tony, Julie, and I don't want to know when we dumped AMC. Did you dump it or you're still holding it, Clark? Julie, oh, here he says, sorry, voice to text. Julie and I were just trying to figure out when we should dump AMC. I can't give you that advice because my crystal ball is not perfect, Clark. There are people that disagree with me vehemently, and that's okay that they do. They say that there's MNPI coming in February and we're going to be blown away and this thing is going to the moon. That's what they're saying. I don't make my investment decisions based on what Adam Aaron says in an interview. There's no 8K saying we're going to the moon. There's no 8K about an announcement. He said, if we're able to pull this off, it'll be exciting news. Okay. Meanwhile, Clark, I can run the numbers. You've seen my spreadsheet. I can run the numbers and forecast Q1 box office and Q1 cash flows versus Q4 cash flows and look at all of the evidence. They sold part of their Highcroft and they paid penalties to increase the ATM capacity in Q1. I mean, everything's lining up that my due diligence is correct, that the company will need to raise cash, i.e. dilution, in Q1. But I could be wrong, Clark. I just want to say, when I say something on this channel, I'm reasonably sure I'm going to be correct. I'm 90% sure. But I also know I'm not perfect. And sometimes my timing is off. But in general, the DD is It's been pretty spot on. I don't think we will be wrong. But because I don't know anything for a fact, I'm just sharing my analysis. I can't tell you what to do with your stock. If you were in the Discord, you would know that we're kind of thinking there might be an opportunity to buy AMC if it craters. Maybe in March or April. And then we'll have a small window into good Q2 news into May, June, July. Maybe the price will go up. We'll see. It's kind of my outline, and we're trying to color in the pieces every week, but everything's not happening exactly when we thought it would. So we're moving the puzzle pieces around, but we still think we see what the puzzle is going to look like. Just like we knew there'd be a vote for more shares last year, I thought it would be in July. It wasn't till December. I wasn't wrong. I just, AMC, for whatever strategic reason, decided December was better for them. Anya says, Tony, you ain't going nowhere for quite a while, except maybe on diaper runs. Anya, Scarlett and I are going to have talk about the movies. Because I don't know. I don't know that I can cut back. She may have to skip some movies. She may have to skip all of them for a couple of years. What age can you take a baby to the movies? Probably not till, what, 4 or 5? Clark says AMC is a horrible gamble at this point. I mean, I don't want to say the word horrible, Clark, because people will get mad saying I'm trash talking the company. I don't have any emotion about the company or the stock. I just look at financials, risk, and probabilities of outcomes based on the filings. And I've already told you what I think is going to happen. It's a probability analysis, and I think it's highly probable that there's going to be a 200 million of dilution before Q2 starts. 200 million shares. Could be wrong. Yeah, I don't like him because he always says he's right. I don't know if I'm right when I say it, but we have been right. If you just are patient, I'm telling you what I think is going to happen over the next several months. You got to be patient. I know. Look, it had a little run up here. Had a little run up. I'm not forecasting tomorrow or next week. I'm looking till March, April, June, July. I'm mapping out my plan. Clark says, I don't care if people get mad at me. I know, Clark. I know you don't. No, but nobody knows where you live, Clark. They're not threatening to come shoot you. You know, you're not a YouTuber, so you have nothing to lose. I hear you. Pro Style says, keep moving that demand zone down. Yeah, I did move it down, and we might have to move it down more. You are exactly right. This, look, I thought about this, and this is actually, it's a good talking point. There is no, based on my due diligence, there's no demand zone. Because I think the filings are going to send it lower. This is based on normal stock gyrations, right? There's nothing normal going on with AMC right now. The company is about to issue shares, and you're going to have the same fucking pattern. I don't know what to tell you. There's no demand zone as long as there is a risk of a corporate filing. There might be a demand zone while we're waiting. Oh, it's a bounce. It's a bounce. And then the day they issue the 8K, demand zone isn't going to hold the stock. There's no support when the company's issuing 200 million shares to lenders and ATM. No support that I could draw on this chart would matter. I mean, it looks symmetrical, it looks nice, but you could just forget about that. I don't know where. I mean, if you're in the Discord, you know where I think it's going. And it is lower than here, I'll tell you that. I want to have a good time tonight. I don't want to make a lot of people mad. But my expectation is we are going lower than $1.35. That's all I'm going to say tonight. And I'm trying to have a good time with y'all. Clark says, and that's not because the shorts and blah, 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 blah. Market cap is 759 million right now. If I give it a very generous 900 million market cap, but add 200 million shares to the float, let's assume the float is 550 and I add 200 million shares. You do the math. I'm increasing the market cap 140 million more than it is today. Divide that by 750 million shares. You tell me what price it's going to settle down to for the market cap to go up. I don't even want to have the discussion about what if the market cap is 759 million and there's 750 million shares. The math's a lot easier, right? That's $1 a share. The price is going to adjust to keep the market cap to a place where the market thinks that it's fairly valued in that moment. I'm praying for MNPI just like you guys, but I'm praying as a bystander. I'm praying on behalf of y'all. Wololo, wololo. I'm praying for y'all. I'm praying for y'all, and I'm going to movies. If anybody knows where wololo is from, you're the OG gamers in this house, in this hizzy, in this channel. I want to see who is my... People think I'm not a gamer. Not lately, not since my kids grown up. My two boys. I might be a gamer again with the young colt on the way. Who is my real gamers that know which character and which game? Someone's Googling it right now. No Googling it. That's cheating. Clark says AMC is going to zero. I'm not that bearish, Clark. I'm not. AMC does not have a going concern warning. I'll just say that. There's a lot of shitty companies we look at that have going concern warnings, which means they don't know if they have a plan that is viable to survive the next 12 months. AMC, surprisingly, doesn't have a going concern warning. I think they have a plan, Clark. The plan might not work out very good for the common shareholders, but the company apparently has a plan. Anya says, I own Fubo. Does that have a demand zone that needs to be lowered? Let's check, Anya. Oh, man, I remember this one back in 2021. It was a darling. 62 bucks, now trading at $1.50. Oh man, Anya. Another ugly stock. We'll look at the financials in just a second, but just looking at the chart, it's trading under the 50 and the 200. It's been on a general downward trend. There's not much I can like here, Anya, but support, without knowing anything about corporate actions or what's going on with this company, just the chart. And you know I hate just looking at the chart by itself. Historical support around 96 cents to $1.10. But that might not mean anything. What the hell's going on with the company? Analysts have a price target of $3.98. Well, that is a little bit encouraging. Wedbush, well, fuck them. We don't like them. Sorry. Multiple analysts with 350. All right. And it's trading at $1.50. I mean, that's double your money. Financials, revenue, just been flat. On an annual basis, there's a little bit of an uptrend. All right, we like that. Net income, it's negative but improving. We don't like negative net income, Anya. Not for our long-term holds unless we've done the DD where we convinced ourselves it's about to flip. It did get a little bit better in the most recent quarter. You see that very tiny bar on the far right? Free cash flow. Oh, man. Come on. I was trying to have a good story here, but that just fucked us. Balance sheet. Look at it. Why did the receivables skyrocket? Receivables went from nothing to 480 million. Obviously, I don't know the answer to that without reading. Total assets, total liabilities, working capital's negative, shareholders' equity is positive. So we got mixed signals on the balance sheet. Negative operating cash flow getting worse. No, Anya, this is not our ideal stock either. Cash acquisition, other financing. There's some complexity. Some deal happened in Q1. Something happened. I'm not a fan. I don't want nothing to do with it. You'd have to sell me on the turnaround story, Anya. ProStyle says if you want a decent stock, check out CHTR. Cheater? Oh, Charter Communications. All right. 790 down 230. That's okay if we have a decent story. We like stocks that have pulled back. Before that, it was a beautiful stock, right? They've been under some pressure since 2021. Do they just do cable? Because maybe they're being impacted by people cutting the cord. Broadband connectivity, subscription-based internet, mobile, video, and voice. All right, so it's not just cable. I know them from Spectrum because they were the company I used to use, which I canceled and switched to Google Fiber. Forecast from analysts 300. That's not bad. 30% higher than the current price for the next 12 months price target. Revenue. It is a generally growing trend, although it has flattened out over the last couple years. Net income, flat. About 4 or 5 years. See, I mean, this is not horrible, for sure. I mean, we've seen far, far worse. All I can say is this kind of boring if we're looking for that growing revenue and growing positive net income. Balance sheet, total assets 154, liabilities. Balance sheet is fine. Positive shareholders equity. They do have negative 8 billion, not fine. Negative 8 billion on working capital. I'd want to go dig in on why that is, but I'm not going to do that here. Current. No, let's not get bogged down trying to figure out a $154 billion balance sheet in 5 minutes. We just note that the shareholders' equity is positive and the working capital is negative. Operating cash flow positive, investing cash flow, what are they doing? CapEx, yeah. Well, you gotta spend money. You gotta spend money to make money. Long-term debt, they're issuing debt, they're repaying debt. Repurchasing stock, we like that. I mean, that's a positive, right? Better than the alternative. Positive free cash flow. Yeah, I mean, this has some good things about it and some bad things. Some yellow flags. It's not what we'd call an ideal stock, but this might be one that you take a chance on if you believe in the company's ability to improve things, clean house a little bit. Analysts seem to think that it's potentially headed as high as $300 over the next 12 months. If what? If earnings continue to improve. They have improving earnings 2026, 2027, 2028, and then falling back down. Maybe there's no guidance after this. I don't know. I mean, it might be worth a shot. Not for me, though. Anybody else in Charter besides Pro Styles? Thank you for sharing that one. I mean, I as being as balanced as I can. Look, there's a lot of crappy tickers that get suggested here. I would not say this is a crappy ticker. It's one that's kind of like on the fence, and you really need to do your homework and decide if you love the stock or not. It doesn't fit the ideal of a long-term like blue chip stock, but were you to get it cheap enough, could you have a potential turnaround like $180 a couple days ago? If it goes to 300, that's double your money. It's not a horrible stock. All I got to do is just a little bit better. I wouldn't say throw it in the trash bin. Michael says, Tony, there are more people going to streaming than more people getting off cable and to many cable companies. Yeah. First, I canceled my phone. Then I canceled my cable. Well, we haven't had a landline in a decade. And then we haven't had cable in several years. And then eventually I tried Spectrum for my streaming. Like doing the live streams, it was just too crappy. And maybe that's nothing against Spectrum, but the wires, the copper wires and stuff around here that they ran the internet on were 20 years old. The technician told me, he's like, there's only so much I can do. They're not planning on upgrading your wires. I was like, and then like the next week I noticed Google was laying fiber in our street. I was like, I'm switching. And yeah, a lot of the lag and disconnects that we had running the live streams here went away. Clark says, Julie knows I have no faith in AMC anymore. I don't care. We'll write it to 0. It doesn't matter anymore. I mean, I'm going to pray to the gods, both old and new, Clark. I don't want to see people lose their money. I'm also not going to tell you that you're going to win. You know, the people, we will win. Keep buying. Depends on box office. Depends on the lenders. I think, what number did I come up with? Somewhere around 10.25 billion. We need a 10.5 billion domestic box office to break even. Which is why, for the moment, I own Cinemark and Marcus Corp, 2 profitable companies. Very fine EV to EBITDA ratio. If you watched my video last week, and they're excelling even in this lower box office. AMC's just got the albatross around its neck of large fleet size. Nothing against them. They tried to become the big player, and Hollywood has not really stepped up to getting things back to where they were in 2019, early 2020. Clark says, I looked at Amazon last night, 205, now it's 210. Yeah, I was watching Amazon too, Clark. Went all the way down to 200. Didn't it go lower and after 196? I like companies. If there's one thing you guys should know about me, when we have a blue chip company like Amazon have a major sell-off like this is when I get to work. Is this a buy? I love blue chip sell-offs that look overdone. That could be the trade of a lifetime right there, or it could go down to 160 again. You need to spend a day making sure you understand management, communications, blah, 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 blah. Why? Why did it crash? Up and to the right. This is the epitome of that. Love it. Should have held on to my Amazon back in 1991. '97. I literally remember when Amazon started out. Whoa! I think that is a fine stock to spend your weekend asking yourself, is it going to retrace all the way down to the 200, around $160, which it could. And there's a lot of market uncertainty even going into next week. Or do you start nibbling at it here, assuming that it's going to keep going up over the next 5 years? You know, depending on what my research tells me, I might start nibbling here. Or if I'm really not convinced that I understand what's going to happen, I might just wait. I'll wait till it comes all the way down here, and maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe I'll miss it. Maybe I miss the next 5 years run up in Amazon because I was a bottom feeder. But I will go with what my gut tells me. after understanding why it fell. Clark says, Tony, Julie wants to know if you ever talked to Maslorian. We did have him on, Clark, about 2 months ago. I'll send him another message this weekend. He's welcome back anytime. You know, he left the country for a while to go visit friends, and then he came back. And I think he just had some issues getting set up and reestablished and getting a job. He's back somewhere up in the Northeast. And even that night when that weekend that I called him and he answered me back, he's like, Tony, I want to do live stream. I just don't know if my equipment's going to work. I was like, well, just let's try it. Let the people know you're alive. He's doing okay. But go back and watch that video on the live stream tab. And I'll see if I can get him back on. Oh, by the way, Mediocre, I still talk to him almost every day. He said to tell everybody hello tonight. He was going to watch some Stranger Things with his wife. I guess he's trying to catch up on Stranger Things. Speaking of Mediocre, let's close up with Weeble, because I know Mediocre owns some Weeble. This is the one that we had May come talk with us about months and months ago. And I was not convinced that I knew enough about their financials to talk intelligently about it or to buy it. So I didn't. I know Mediocre is a big believer in Weeble. I do own some Weeble now, as you can see here. And I even bought some more yesterday at 612. It got down to 578. It rallied today 13%. But I need to see some more earnings. I don't have like a defensible financial case where I could tell you should buy Weeble. This is kind of a gut feel kind of thing. It could go down to $5. It could go down to $5, but the analysts, I did publish in Discord what I thought was fair value. We're not going to talk about it here because it don't matter. It's just a quick and dirty analysis. It's not some ridiculously high number, I'll tell you that. The analyst price target is higher than my number, but the analysts have a price target of $16.50 on Weeble. I also saw, besides I own it, Mediocre owns it, I saw that our friend and fellow Paisan, Nicholas Pantano, happened to talk about, I have never talked to Nick. I'm surprised he hasn't blocked me. Everybody else has. Shout out to him for being a real one, I guess, at least for not being a pussy. And all the pussies block me. Oh, he said something about AMC I didn't agree with, so I'm going to block him. I saw that Nick was tweeting about Weeble, ticker Bull, and he was bullish on it. I didn't even know he was looking at that stock. I also saw that Han Akimoto, or whatever his name is, I don't know if he's a real person or not. I saw that he said he sold his Weeble. He's been bullish on a Weeble for a while. But I bought more. That's all I can tell you. Is it a defensible, like, hey, $6 is solid? No. Look at this chart. This chart sucks. It's in a free fall. There's no... When I post in Discord, when I buy something, I post in the VIP. I will share my thoughts. Like, look, I'm adding a little bit here. I'm adding a little bit here. It could go lower. I'm not trying to go all in. I'm saving dry powder. Look, you can see even where I drew my green line, 560. It could go all the way down here, and I would add more until I have some evidence from earnings that my analysis was completely wrong, in which case I'd just take the lumps, I'd take the loss and get out. Until then, I think that this is a potential decent play over the next couple of years, just like Robinhood was abandoned for a long time until they actually started posting results. So this is a wait and see play. This is not like a strong conviction where I'm going to be pounding the table telling you got to buy Weeble. It's running up 63% in the next 180 days. I don't know. But I am accumulating slowly. It's a play of patience for me. They are growing their revenue streams, Anya, right? They added crypto. They added bond trading. They have one of the best after hours extended trading. Yes, like you said. I have not bought any Robinhood, Clark, but they've been getting murdered, haven't they, in price? Oh my goodness. I wish I would have bought someone that was cheap, Clark. $29 up to 153. Yeah. I mean, if I'm just analyzing it unemotionally, Clark, probably worth a day of your time to look into it. Analyst 119, it's at 82. I mean, 40% in a year is not bad if it pops back up. It's been trading over this 200 for a long time. We crossed under it. Last time it crossed under, it was only under for a couple days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I haven't looked at their earnings or the news. We need to go look at that this weekend, Clark. What's going on? Oh, it's on the 10th. Okay. We're about to find out. Maybe there's a trade here on Monday, a speculative bet. We'll see. I'll look at this one this weekend. Yeah, Anya, they did. That's why I have not owned Robinhood, because of the whole turning off the buy button. And, you know, that bias cost me a lot of money in missed opportunity. I try not to do that. I try not to be emotional or let bias come into the decisions, but there's so many stocks, you know, you can choose to buy or not, and Robinhood was just one. I was like, I don't really care to own them, but had a hell of a run up since 2021, despite retail traders saying they don't like them, despite Tony saying he doesn't like it. They did just fine. All right. It is 11 o'clock. We've been going 2 hours. I told my wife that this was going to be a 1 hour live stream. You know, we like to push the envelope here. If you are watching on replay, or if I missed your question on the live stream, feel free to leave me a comment after this video is over. I hope to see some of you figure out how to find your way into the Discord. There is a free Discord, and there are additional paid levels if you want more access. No, I'm not going to tell you how to figure it out. And I will not send you an invite. Have a beautiful night. Let's hope that next week is better than this week. I hope you got a little bit out of tonight's live stream. I'll be around. See you on the next one.
Up and to the right. Up and to the right. Up and to the right.
Hello, millionaires. Short squeeze plays where fortunes flip. GameStop's journey, an epic trip. From humble roots to the moon we fly. A company's dream will amplify. Ready warriors, keyboards in hand. With their eyes on the prize, they took a stand. No one's selling, we're here to fight. How does it go? Up and to the right. Up and to the right, we're in for the ride. It's us on the rise, it can't be denied. Up and to the right, through the day and night. Together we'll soar, molasses in sight. Up and to the right, we're in for the ride. It's us on the rise, it can't be denied. Up and to the right, through the day and night. Together we'll soar, molasses in sight. Hedge funds trembling, pennies in shock. GameStop stock, it'll never stop. From diamond heads to rocket ships, we're not selling, we buy every dip. Up and to the right, we're in for the ride. Up and to the right, it can't be denied. Up and to the right, through the day and night. Up and to the right, molasses in sight. Billions in cash on the balance sheet. We will win even if they cheat. To lose more, we don't care. But value grows with every share. The doubters say it can't be done, but the retail army we've already won. With every share we'll never stop. Investors say we love the stock. Up and to the right, we're in for the ride. It's us on the rise, it can't be denied. Up and to the right, through the day and night. Together we'll soar. Up and to the right. Up and to the right. We're in for the ride. Together we'll soar. Up and to the right.
Surprise!
We're gonna win.